Good day. My name is Marcus. I'm the CEO of Jam Cyber, and in this segment, Cyber CEO, we try to talk sort of in business language about IT or geeky or cybersecurity stuff in particular. Today, I want to show you some, what some of the scams and in particular phishing, what that actually looks like. So, starting off with um, a UPS ticket item here. Just up front, the computer you're looking at here is basically a virtual machine running completely independently and sandboxed. So whatever we do on here, nothing's going to happen to my computer. But it's clearly something you don't really want to do at home or in your office because damage could be inflicted. So, don't try this at home kind of stuff. But so for starters, you can see some of the base functionality that Outlook gives you is when they're not quite sure about stuff, they give you, they don't load pictures because just loading this picture would actually tell somebody that you've opened this email and looked at it. And in this instance, I don't care. I'm just gonna, do that. Some of those images have already disappeared because these messages sort of tend to come and go, and then wherever you go may be at some stage blocked off, or actually shut down by the authorities. But as always, it's like, oh, so a bit of information, but not quite enough. There's always, like in marketing, it's really like a marketing email. There's a call to action. Most important thing to do is, you hover over, you can see where you actually go. So you're going to tyrodsjewelry.com, which already is something completely different to Amiga, which in itself is not US SPS. So clearly American thing, potentially Amiga's been hacked, somebody's using their accounts, it's just spoofing them, and then you're going to some hacked WordPress page once you click on it. And also any of the other links here go all to that same spot. What's interesting here now, you can see with the content ID and the UTM source stuff, this is literally like a marketing campaign. So when you click, the perpetrators can see which campaign you reacted to, and they can also see who actually was that. So the moment I click this here, copy the hyperlink in this instance and take it over here. Then they now know who clicked that and which campaign they responded to. This is already a little while old, so you can see this is like 3 weeks old. In the meantime, Microsoft's detected that as malicious, and even without an antivirus product on here, it's going to let me through to it. Whether it's still available, yeah, here we go. So now we can see some message, and now of course, I apologize, I'm going to kill that off, but it's taking you to a dating website, right? So contents you don't necessarily want to see. So the goal really of this message here is more spammy, and that is apparently he wants you to look at a dating page. So you got to apologize, but I haven't opened all of this myself because clearly we're not, just setting up boxes and destroying them willy-nilly. So we've gone through a bit of effort here to get a computer ready. Here's another one labeled management fees. What they've done here is quite interesting. They've given you this sort of blurred out view so that you are super tempted to click on it. Same here, you hover over it. It's a link to a host at uber8.org. Not sure what that would be. Most likely, again, it's probably a hacked WordPress page. I've I've gone. Where is it? I've gone here. This is that URL. And so what it's wanting you to do is, when you click on this, it redirects you to another host. You can see down there on the left, it goes to these are something, and will then try for you or to encourage you to download a file. These would most likely have been ransomware, and if you then download that remittance or supposed remittance and execute it, it would go and encrypt all your files in the computer. And next time you want to open a file, this will pop up and it'll tell you, you've got 24 hours, you have to pay, I don't know, 1 crypto or 5 crypto bitcoins, and here is the address of the wallet, which of course all anonymous. So once the money's gone, it's disappeared. That's pretty much the stock standard ransomware of business model. Business model of ransomware. Another one we have here is same. So the email is trying to get you to open an attachment. This in itself is actually an email within an email. So, it's It is what it is. And this is probably to actually avoid the detection of the HTML file, because we recommend blocking HTML extensions because most companies don't need them, but by default, Microsoft has actually not blocked them. So it's quite a common avenue now to send HTML files. And what these usually do, they pretend to be Microsoft or somebody else, and they ask you to log in, and then we call it a phishing attack. And then when you try to log in, so I'm going to open this here. When you try and log in, so say credit control, sign in, it shows you the Microsoft login. And of course, then if you log in, this looks exactly the part, right? If you then log in, it actually sends the credentials through to the perpetrators. This one's a really sophisticated one because this is actually the Microsoft version of it, because it's actually going to cross-check if your password's right or not. So this is an extremely sophisticated one, and it can do that because you store it locally. So because the HTML file in your browser, when you click it, it stores it to your local computer. So this is not actually a website you're accessing outside your computer. This is actually already running in your computer, and that's why it's quite powerful from a dodgy point of view. So going back, sorry, I gotta click around here a bit. Here's another one. This is sort of the classic one we see a lot these days, and that is again HTML or HTML attachment. You double click that because it's enticing to do so because it's an attachment. And what danger can a website do? This adds a layer on top, and it's using a Google captcha to portray to be solid or legit. You do this, you verify, done a mistake, go do it again. So it's actually using a proper captcha to portray to be legit. And then right after, though, it pops again into a Microsoft logon. Oh, it's asking me twice now, but it's trying to basically get me to log on to the Microsoft services. And then in the process, it would capture my credentials. This one you can see here, they've gone to the extent to create a host that is Microsoft Online without the E, but the actual page you're at is com-auth.icu. And this demonstrates why password management tools are such a great defense against phishing. Because if your user or your employees are on here, your password management tool now would not give you your Office login credentials, because the password management tool realizes you're not on Office.com or on Microsoft Online. The password management tool realizes that. So not having it is an extra hurdle, right? So this is your classic phishing. One of the single most effective ways to avoid phishing from being successful, besides password management, is multi-factor authentication. If you use Microsoft's or Google's free, exclamation mark, free multi-factor authentication mechanisms, then even if your staff falls victim to a phishing attempt, the damage is very, very limited. So can't stress enough how important multi-factor authentication is. We've had some other ones. So this is an interesting one. This was an SMS that was active about 4 weeks ago. This was sort of a text message you receive, and then if you go to that website on your phone, it would ask you to enter your bank details. But this is already no longer live. So these scams come and go pretty much on a daily basis. Here's another one. Never mind the noise that is about to start. This is just somebody sent a video, and somebody sent that, and don't ask. Some guy driving a tractor, right? Like, who knows why and what. But the trick here could be that in the background, somebody's exploiting a vulnerability in an outdated video player. So while this video is playing, if your software is not up to date, a buffer overrun or something may lead to remote code execution. So it just goes to show how important it is to keep your software updated. Yeah, so that's a little sort of roadshow, if you will, of what scams can look like. Some of the most successful scams in Australia, they piggyback on brands. So some of the most successful ones were AGL and still are. So you can see, 2019, 2020, but even late last year, an energy bill discount scam alert. So perpetrators often try to pretend to be Telstra or try to be AGL or Amazon, stuff like that. A lot of stuff now coming in via phone calls as well. With most of those, the biggest defense mechanisms you actually have are employee awareness training. Can't stress enough how much the readiness of employees to actually realize it's a threat and then act accordingly by deleting the email or not acting on it is pretty much your biggest and most important barrier. For ransomware in particular, I would like to pinpoint you or point you towards the ACSC, the Australian Cybersecurity Centre, or cyber.gov.au. They've developed a framework called Essential 8, and there is two measurements in here, which is the application control, or only allowing known good programs, and the restriction of administrative privileges. These two measures alone would pretty much eradicate 99.9% of externally induced ransomware today for every business that does it. But most businesses don't, and don't ask me because we can do it. We can do it for something, with all the other tools and everything for as little as $50 a month per box. Fully cloud delivered, location independent, exactly the same way you access your file and your accounting. We can now deliver cybersecurity. But in our conversations, we find most companies still don't do this. Another item I've already mentioned, apologies, is the multi-factor authentication. That's in most instances free. Be that Zero, be that Office, that's all available. So talk to your IT or your cybersecurity partner. If somebody tells you not to do that, or if it's too hard or too expensive, just don't believe them because it's usually free and it's usually a couple of mouse clicks away and it's not hard to use. So just that barrier alone is a really important one. But yeah, with this, I close that. I hope you enjoyed our little excursion into the evils that email can deliver. And if you need any assistance, Jam Cyber is always happy to help. So yeah, hope you have a lovely week and talk soon. Thanks, guys.